I'm Jessica Clarke.
And I'm Ben Higgins, and we're finally getting married.
So Ben was staying in a hotel in Nashville, and I was at a hockey game in Nashville. The hockey arena was across the street from his hotel. And I guess you were just looking on Instagram one night?
I was, and her picture popped up at the hockey game. I was like, that girl's beautiful. Yeah, I guess I can probably share this part because I was behind the scenes here. And right before this, actually, some familiar names, Dean and Nick, and I was talking to him about like, hey, I don't know how to date now. Like after like this whole thing, I don't know how to meet people. I don't really like going out in public. It just feels too much for me. They're like, Ben, you need to start messaging people on Instagram. It's like, what? Like, that's a thing? And they're like, oh, it's a great thing. Do it. Because if they don't like it, they just don't respond and you feel no embarrassment. I was like, all right. So probably a week later, I was in Nashville. I saw her picture. I screenshotted it because I was like, it's going to be too creepy for me to message her now. Like, I just don't think that's going to work. I need to sit on this. But in November of that year, I was cleaning out my phone and I came across her picture as I was deleting pictures. I hadn't messaged her yet. And so this had gone on like 6.5 months of me just having her picture. And that evening I said, you know what? What am I waiting for? I'm just gonna do it. And so I sent her a message that said something along the lines of, I don't know if you're ever in Denver. I also don't know if you're single, but if you ever are in Denver, I would love to take you out sometime. Don't ask too many questions on how I know you. I'll explain that later. And then she messaged me back.
Yeah. So I woke up and I had a message from someone with a blue check mark and 1 million followers on Instagram. And I was doing sales full-time in Nashville. I'm like, how in the heck did this person find me? So my little brother, he plays baseball, and I was like, do you know who this is? And he was like, I don't think so. And I asked my mom, and my mom was like, he was the Bachelor like 5 years ago. You actually watched a couple episodes with me. You must not remember, but she was like, you have to find out how he found you. So then me and my mom and my brother are concocting messages back to him because I'm like, I just want to find out how he found my photo. So we're messaging back and forth. He pulls the old, like, I don't check my messages very much. You should just text me. So then we text, and we end up talking on the phone, and then we end up FaceTiming for hours every night for like 3 weeks. And then he invested in a restaurant in Denver, and he had the opening to it one night. And he was like, I want you to come out here and come to the opening with me. And I was like, okay, sure. So I woke up the next morning and had a flight to Denver, came right out.
And then the next day, we went on a date to a little restaurant in Evergreen, Colorado. And we ordered a bottle of wine and a bucket of French fries at this restaurant. And we ended up sitting there for 3 hours, and it felt like it was 20 minutes, and we just talked. And we say then that during that time, we shared a lot with each other, and it was just very comfortable. But like our first date was a moment where I said, uh-oh, like, I think I met her.
Yeah, I was the same way. I left that lunch and I was like, I'm probably gonna marry him. And I remember I called my mom and I said the same thing. The first time my parents met Ben, they're like, you're gonna marry him. We just knew.
So I was touring for the Bachelor Live on Stage. And my initial plan was to propose to Jessica in Central Park right before our tour date in New York City. It was weeks of planning. And then 4 days before he was supposed to show up to New York, COVID shut down the tour. And so I was told, hey, you're heading back home. And we decided at that point that since it felt like everybody was gonna have a couple weeks of sitting at home, we were just gonna quarantine in Franklin, Tennessee with her whole family. And when I got there, we all started planning for this proposal. So I didn't wanna push it out any longer. I was ready for it. I had the ring, which was burning a hole in my pocket. So I proposed to Jessica in her backyard, which actually ended up amazing because all of our family was able to be there in one place, have dinner together, celebrate together.
I was very surprised with the entire engagement. It was probably the only day in our relationship that I've ever been in like a terrible mood all day.
Go ahead.
And Ben was like pushing to go on this walk that afternoon. I was like, I do not want to go on a walk. It's 90 degrees outside. I'm just not in the mood to go on a walk. So he had this like elaborate story. He went to the chiropractor and was like, the chiropractor told me I have to go on a walk after he fixed my back. So we have to go on this walk before dinner tonight. You have to come with me. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, he won't let this stupid
I think
walk
those are
go.
your exact words, is you've got to be kidding me.
And then we like start walking out of my parents' driveway to go up the hill where he had set up the proposal. And he almost immediately starts to cry. And I'm like, oh, he's gonna break up with me because I've been so mean all day. That was the first thing that ran through my head. And then he started saying really sweet things. And so then I realized he wasn't breaking up with me. And then we got to the proposal spot and I blacked out. It was the first day we had worn real pants in weeks. I had jeans on, I had makeup on, because my older brother is a chef, and so my mom was like, he's gonna make a nice dinner for us, so let's all actually shower and get dressed. So I'm showered, I'm dressed, it's like I said, 90 degrees, and Ben's like, you wanna go on a walk? I'm like, heck no. But we did, and it worked out great. It was the best walk of my life. I definitely was leaning more towards just a quick, small wedding, but unfortunately and fortunately, I have like 150 immediate family members, and so the conversation was then, okay, so then it's just like our parents and your brothers, but he's an only child, and so there were a lot of conversations around how many people do we want, how do we want to do this, and we just decided we're just gonna wait and do it exactly how we want to. But I definitely brought up elopement probably more times than he would have liked. So when we decided that we weren't going to elope, much to my dismay, I realized I did need to hire a wedding planner because of how big our wedding was going to be. So I ended up going with Nashville, and Sarah Freed, who is the owner and really runs the whole show. She really understood kind of what I wanted for the day. She understood Ben and I as a couple, and she's been incredible to work with.
We're going to be getting married in Lebanon, Tennessee, which is just north of Nashville, on Old Hickory Lake at a venue called Cherokee Docks, which is, like, to me, one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen.
Everything's in one place. It's on a beautiful house on a lake in Nashville, and there's a tent on the property where the ceremony will take place. So we're gonna decorate it kind of like a church feeling. So we have pews coming in, we're gonna have stained glass around the altar and just candles and white flowers and just very simple and elegant. And then after that, you walk around the back and there's gonna be a reception venue. There's an indoor place where the band will be, and then the doors lift up and you can go out onto the lake.
We would feel most celebrated as a couple if people left our wedding saying they were glad they came. Not only do they love us and they love celebrating this with us, but it was just worth coming to. Like, if it was just a big party.
Yeah, I think once we decided we were definitely doing a big wedding, it became, okay, how do we make this the best night of everyone's lives, not just ours? So that's been the real goal. So I started looking at dresses in October. I waited a little while, we picked our venue, we picked our time of year, and then I started to think about the kind of dress that I wanted. I knew I wanted my dress to be from Ann Barge. They just are very timeless. I wanted to look back in 20 years and be like, oh, I still do love that dress. And so Ann Barge was definitely who I wanted to go with, and they invited me actually to come try on a dress at their atelier in Atlanta. So I brought my mom and I brought Ben's mom, and the three of us went to Atlanta for a weekend, and I tried on every style of dress you can possibly imagine. So it is a crepe dress, it's strapless, it's pretty form-fitting, very flattering through the front, and it's just plain in the front. And then the back has a really low back that we actually made the back on the dress lower because that was something I really liked a lot. I thought it was a little bit sexier, and because the front was a little bit more simple, we went with that, and has buttons all down the back. And then I added on sleeves actually, but the sleeves are removable. So they're tulle sleeves and they're off the shoulder a little bit like this shirt. And you can take them all the way off, but as a little surprise, my mom actually mailed Ann Barge her wedding dress, and they cut the lace off of my mom's wedding dress and they added it to the sleeves, and it matches the lace on my veil, which I have a really long veil as well. So we do have those lace elements too, and that was really special to me. So I'm gonna wear some earrings that are my great-grandmother's. So she's from Italy. The earrings are over 100 years old, and they have pearls on them, which is my birthstone, and then they're unfinished diamonds. And my mom actually got them fixed up so I can wear them with my dress, because the lace details from hers also have little pearls in them. So that's gonna be really special. It's the only piece of jewelry I'm wearing besides my engagement ring on the day. I literally never want to take it off. They laugh because every time I go and try it on, I'll like be standing there just chatting with them, and they're like, "Are you gonna take the dress off?" And I'm like, "Not yet." I just want to stay in it forever. I think it's so comfortable. It makes me feel so beautiful, and the fact that there's so much attention to detail for it to fit my body exactly. I mean, no one else could wear this dress. It is fitted to my body. There's something about that just makes you feel special in general, because it's yours and it's so personal, and I love it, and I can't wait for Ben to see it because I think he's gonna really love it too. I know he's gonna be emotional in general. He's already told me during the first look. He wants a first look specifically because he knows he's gonna be emotional. So I don't know if the dress is as important to him as just the fact that I'm going to look like a bride. We spent a lot of time kind of with all the details to make sure it is very bridal. So I'm really excited for him to see it. Since the reception is kind of just like a big party, I kind of wanted the ceremony to be a little bit more reverent. So it's going to be very simple and beautiful. It's going to be decorated like it is in a church. So we actually have a pianist and cellist from my parents' church in Nashville, and that's going to be the ceremony music, and they're so wonderful. And then we have 3 officiants. We have my pastor from home, we have Ben's pastor from home, and then we have our friend who has been kind of walking with us through our relationship.
And so when we were thinking about it, we were like, all these people have played such big roles in our life. Is it possible to have 3 officiants? So one is going to introduce us and like welcome everybody. One is going to do the vows and ring, and then the other person is going to announce us as a couple. And it's awesome because we get to share that with the 3 people that really stand out to us as having an impact on our relationship.
And then we are gonna have 2 readings. So one will be a scripture reading, and then one is gonna be a bunch of quotes from Winnie the Pooh, which is a favorite thing of ours. And they have a lot of really cute little love quotes. So it's going to be very reverent, but also like us, a little bit more lighthearted and fun, and not just serious the entire time.
I'll definitely be emotional. I know it, because I know my dad's gonna be very emotional. I know my mom is gonna be very, so happy tears. Like my dad wrote an email last night to all the groomsmen, and I let Jess read it, and he just said, "Hey, I'm Ben's best man," and he kind of spoke to how much that means to him, and then he said, "And we're so excited for this because we love Jessica so much." And I was just like, that even in itself kind of makes me emotional. Wells is the only person in the wedding from the Bachelor world, so he's an usher. I love Wells. We've gotten really close through the years from golf. But then there's some other people that I have are great friends of mine. Nick Vile will be there with his girlfriend, Ashley and Jared. Becca Kufrin, Becca Tilley will be there, who has just been a really great friend to the both of us, and that's something really special. And so for me personally, they're friends, and I want them at our wedding, and I know a lot of them have been great to her, and so she wants them at our wedding.
It's gonna be very fall and warm. We have kind of mixed materials. So we're gonna have some high top tables, some low top tables, and then just couches throughout the lawn for people to sit in. So we don't have enough seating for everyone to sit at once, which was kind of on purpose. Ben said we're not gonna force people to dance, but we kind of are. So people will be kind of moving and grooving. You can eat whenever you want, and you can start dancing as soon as we finish our dances. So you're just gonna go straight into the party. It's kind of the feel.
We wanted this to be a big celebration with great music. So music was number one. We thought, hey, we're gonna get the best band. we possibly can for this wedding, and I think we did, the Taylor Pace Band, and they're absolutely awesome. And then also we wanted it to be set up where there wasn't a sit-down dinner, so that as soon as the ceremony was over, people could start celebrating right away. Weddings are always kind of funny when dancing is forced. Like, you never want to force dancing at a wedding. We really want this to be like, however people want to have fun that evening, they go have fun that way.
We decided we were just gonna have all of our favorite foods there. So we're doing a pizza station, a pasta station, sliders, chips and salsa,
Wraps.
and then dessert is chocolate chip cookies is my favorite, and strawberry rhubarb pie is Ben's. So we have little pie pops, cookies, and then popcorn. After every wedding we've been to, we're like, no one really eats the cake. So we're gonna have 2 tiers just for the people that do want cake. It's actually a white cake and then caramel filling and caramel icing. And then we have a cake topper of Ben and I. And there's a place, and they make cake toppers for short brides. So the cake topper, I'm standing on a stool, and it's perfect. There's also a pool house where Ben's gonna have a bourbon bar set up. So I have a feeling that's where I'll find him for most of the night.
Bourbon company's gonna come in and they're gonna provide a kind of a array of bourbons. People are gonna be able to sit in there and just have a drink. It's gonna be off to the side, so it's gonna be a little quieter. I just thought that was a cool idea. It was something I thought of like early on in this, was that if we could have like a quieter place where people could go and have a conversation and try different bourbons, I thought that would be fun.
So since it's on a lake, we're actually going to be exiting on a boat, which no one knows about except for us and our wedding planner.
Which is great because I grew up on a lake.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a nice little touch to me, was to leave on a pontoon, I think, which I think will be so fun. We're just going out on the pontoon and making a little oval to a dock, and we're staying at the venue. The house there has like a beautiful like suite for the couples that evening. So we're gonna stay there, so we're not going very far.
I think just having a teammate every single day, waking up and seeing each other and going about normal life. Our dating life wasn't very normal at all. We did long distance for 2 years, and then I moved out here after we got engaged. And so just being able to be together every single day, I'm really excited for that.
I also think for us, we have set up boundaries in our relationship, especially around intimacy. And so like just growing now, like closer together as a couple is exciting for me. Like there's still a lot to our relationship that we have to explore. We have so much growth to still happen in our relationship, in our lives, and so much more to understand about each other. Spiritually, my understanding of love and of life and loving others and loving God has increased by being with Jessica.